Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Vacation Time with Ryan. I am here in Cuba. I just wanted to make a video, tell you guys a few things you should know before you go to Cuba, and just give you a little update on my trip. All right? So just stay tuned and enjoy the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right? So first of all, right out the gate, you can't just go to Cuba for tourism like a lot of other countries. You can come, but it has to be for support of the Cuban people. Now, this is something that when you're booking your flight, your reason for travel, they're going to ask you, and you're going to put support of the Cuban people. All right? So that's how you are going to get to Cuba. So book your flight, make sure you put support of the Cuban people. You'll see it. They'll ask you why you're going. You're going to need a visa, all right? Very important. You're going to need a visa to get into Cuba. Now, for this visa, I've heard many people get it at the airport. I would not recommend that. I would recommend just getting it online before you even get to your trip, all right? So what I did was I got the e-visa online, and then 6 days before your trip, or within that 6 day window, it doesn't have to be exactly 6 days, but within 6 days of your trip, there's going to be another form that you're going to fill out. It's really fast. They're just going to ask you questions like for your passport and just information on your travel. It's kind of like if you ever been to the Dominican Republic. There's a similar thing that you fill out, just putting your passport, why you're traveling, the address you're traveling to, basic information. But so you're gonna get the e-visa. It's simple. It's a simple process. All right. For me, the e-visa that I got cost $25. I think most people typically pay around $50 or something like that. And of course, everything you do at the airport tends to always be more expensive, so go figure. All right, so make sure you do that before your trip. Very important. Support for the Cuban people. When you're booking your flights, that's what you're going to put. And then make sure you get your e-visa. Shoot me a message if you need any help. It could be on Instagram at Vacation Time with Ryan, or it can be through my email. All right, so getting to the airport, they're going to ask, your airline is going to ask you, for your e-visa. I noticed some people printed that form out. I didn't. I just showed them on my phone, and they was like, all right, go ahead. That was it. Very simple process, all right? Yeah, and I believe arriving in Cuba, I think they did ask for the visa again. So just have that on standby. Very simple. You just show them on your phone. I took a screenshot of it. There's like a barcode on it, and I just show them. All right, so boom. That's simple. Coming into Cuba, a lot of people bring things to give out, right? Because remember, you're coming for support of the Cuban people. So there's things that you can bring to give away, You can bring things like toiletries. I see a lot of people bring little snacks, candy. Some people bring toys for kids. You can bring, notebooks, pencils, pens. Toilet paper is a big one. A lot of people bring toilet paper. They say bring your own toilet paper. My Airbnb is equipped with toilet paper, but I also brought some just in case. I gave that away. Paper towels. I heard there's a shortage on like pads for women, stuff like that. Band-Aids. What else? I'm just trying to think of a lot of the stuff I brought too, and what I've seen other people bring. Toothbrush, toothpaste. Yeah, man, a lot of that stuff. Yeah, stuff like that. If I left anything out, I apologize. You could easily do a Google search. They'll tell you a lot of things that you can bring. I ordered some stuff on Amazon, and I just brought another bag, and I filled it up with that stuff, and I gave it out. So I put them in Ziploc bags. I made little packages and handed them out. Now, where to give that stuff away while you're in Cuba. Everyone has their own way, I guess, of doing it. I heard you can go to schools or like maybe churches or something like that. I just gave it out in the streets. A lot of people say don't do it because they will swarm you if they see you pulling out, a bag of stuff. They'll swarm you, and yeah, you gotta be careful, because we had an incident where one of my friends pulled out, his bag to give away some stuff, and these kids swarmed him rough, and it was like trying to go in his pockets pretty much. But yeah, so just be careful with that when you're giving stuff away in the streets. You want to be discreet about it, you want to conceal it, and you want to give it away in a discreet way. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Now, when booking your Airbnb, just be mindful of power outages. I have an Airbnb where we experience a lot of power outages, and this is on the 8th floor. I'm sure you're gonna hear me say that a lot in my content. But so I have to take the stairs up 8 flight of stairs, and let me tell you, I've been getting my workout on this trip, because I've been going up and down 8 flight of stairs, and it might not sound like a lot to all you gym people, but it is a lot. It's a low view. I can't remember if I gave you guys a view already, but I'm currently in my Airbnb. So yeah, just do a little research on your Airbnb. Read the comments, because believe it or not, the people in the reviews of the Airbnb, they did mention that it's on the 8th floor, and they did mention that if the power goes out, you have to walk up and down. And I did know that coming in, and I still chose to book it because they said even with that, it's a very beautiful Airbnb. If you have maybe health conditions and you can't be going up and down stairs all the time, especially 8 flight of stairs, you might, you know what I'm saying? This is information that you want to know. All right, so do your research on your Airbnb thoroughly. Be mindful of power outages. Depending on where you go, you might not have toilet paper. Like I said, here, my Airbnb people, they're very equipped. They have a lot of lights in every room for the power outages. They have fans. So, it's just as comfortable as you can be with a power outage, even though it's still uncomfortable because, there's no Wi-Fi. And obviously you can't, watch TV and all that. But anyways, so that's another thing to be mindful of. Another thing very, very important, your SIM. So I have iPhone 15 Pro Max and I have iPhone 17 Pro Max, which both accept only eSIM. So I would strongly advise, if you're in the same situation where your phone only takes eSIM, I would advise you to buy a cheap phone that can accept a physical SIM, because I'm using Gig Sky for my eSIM. If you've done any research, or if you know, yeah, they do eSIMs, but it's essentially trash for me right now. Yesterday it was working very good. I don't know what happened yesterday. I don't know what was the difference between yesterday and today, but yesterday the eSIM was working amazing even during the power outage. Today the power went out recently and it is not working at all. And I bought it for 15 days, so I don't know what's going on with that. So do your research on that. So if you're in my situation, buy a phone. Next time I come here, because I will be back. I love it. I love it here, by the way. Next time I come, I'm going to have a cheaper phone that can accept the physical SIM. Because if you have the physical SIM card, your connection is very good. Because the Cuban people, their phones are amazing. They work amazingly, right? But with my phone and my eSIM, trash. It's slow. I can't download a picture on it. So just be mindful of that, right? But although yesterday it was working good. Yesterday I could download pictures, I could watch YouTube and all of that. But anyways, yeah. So be mindful of your SIM situation. All right. So if you do get a cheaper phone, you come here, you can get a SIM from the airport, or you can ask your Airbnb host to get you one. Now, you want to hear a quick funny story about this eSIM stuff? A few days ago, I didn't have any connection. I could not communicate with anyone. So my friend that's here, I know he's not far, but I don't know where his Airbnb is. So he did send me his location, and because he said he would send it, but it didn't come through, right? And we were supposed to be meeting up. So I said, you know what? Let me leave my Airbnb and walk around and see if I can get some connection. So I did that, right? And I got some connection, and then the text came in with his location, but the eSIM is not, like, the signal is not strong enough for me to pull up my Google Maps, right? So I seen the little dot in the picture, even though I couldn't load it up. Like, I seen where he was, like the street, the two streets that connected, the two street numbers. So what I did, I was walking and I asked the lady, hey, where is this in this street? And she's like, oh, just go down there, make a left, and then go down there again, make another turn. Right. But once I started seeing the street numbers, then I followed and I went to the corner of those two streets. I looked at the building and I said, he's got to be at the top, because, judging by looking around, if it's going to be an Airbnb, it's probably going to be the nicest, view and all of that, whatever. So I said, he got to be at the top. So what I did was, and the balcony was open and everything, I called his name out and he came out. He was like, what the heck? And I was like, I had a feeling you were in this one. So it was funny. I don't know. I thought that was a funny story. Just a little side story. But anyways, back to business. Also, excuse my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather, so if you hear me sound a little stuffy, excuse me. Another thing to know about Cuba is really safe, man. It's really safe. Like, I don't hear about like any like gun violence or anything like that. It's safe. You don't really see a lot of weapons. It's a relatively safe place. Now, there's some places where you'll see big crowds. It might look intimidating, but it's really not. You just want to take your normal safety precautions as you would in any country, especially as a traveler. Try not to have important things in your pockets, because obviously in crowds you run the risk of being pickpocketed. Not saying that that's a common thing here, but it can happen. You're traveling, be safe. Maybe have a little bag, or however you do it, do your thing. Just be careful, and things that are important, be mindful of that. So it's just a little safety reminder, but it's pretty safe out here. I feel pretty safe out here. Walking around, people notice you either talking English or you look like you're not from here. People will approach you, and especially the kids. The kids, oh my goodness, they are aggressive out here. The kids will run up on you out here and ask you, for, some food or some money or something. You know how it goes traveling. But they're aggressive out here, the kids. I noticed that. And they'll swarm you. Yes, and they are persistent. So, yeah, just be mindful of that. Other than that, man, beautiful country. The infrastructure, you got to get used to it. But there's a lot of beautiful buildings out here, And then there's some rough areas, and you see some rough stuff. And, you just kind of want to support, you want to help out, because, they're struggling, and a Cuban will tell you that, Okay, for me personally, I think the most expensive thing I see so far is transportation. Now, that very well could just be me, because I've done it on both ends, where I've gotten where I needed to go very cheap, because I did it like a local. Like, we hopped in the back of vans, we jumped in with strangers on taxis and stuff like that. That's typically very cheap. So I don't want to just say it's expensive, but if you have like a personal car come and get you, then yeah, it's more expensive. And I guess that's probably like that everywhere. So just be mindful of that. Obviously, you know, you could get overcharged for different things, whether it's food or whether it's transportation. Just be mindful of the price, of the local price. If you know the price, know how much you're willing to spend, especially if you speak Spanish. You got some negotiating power. Cool. So that's just something to be mindful of. But, you know, if you travel, you probably already know these things. So like yesterday, I wasn't paying attention. We went to have lunch and our bill came out to $130. And I'm like, okay, we were not paying attention to the prices, but I figure we're in Cuba, like how much could the bill actually get to? $50, $40? You know what I'm saying? At the most. And I'm just taking like extreme at the most because I hear a lot of people eat for $3. Even my boy said he had breakfast the other day for $3. So I'm just walking around thinking everything is cheap. So, you know, we just stopped somewhere to eat. And the funny thing is we knew where we wanted to go and we got stopped on the way and we was like, let's just try here. Because where we were gonna go, we knew the prices from that was already okay. We ate there prior. But anyways, so when we got there, I was like, man, because I was starving. Because y'all know I'm eating one meal a day, so I was really hungry. So I was like, man, can I just get like some fries, like something like an appetizer, something quick? And she said something like, oh, there's this dish she got with some type of like beef and fries and whatever. And I was like, yeah, whatever, cool. You know, if it's gonna come out fast, she said, yeah, okay, cool. Because I was like really feeling weak. So she brought out this big platter of like carne with, and there wasn't even fries on that platter. It was like tostones, like what is it, patacon, whatever. A lot of like plantain and carne, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But just plantain in different forms. But anyways, long story short, the bill came. It was $130. I had chicken wings, and bro had, what did he have? It was something, I think probably like some grilled chicken. It was something like that. Man, we would pay, even in the U.S., we would have paid like $30 for that between the two of us, like total. Man, that bill was $130. I'm like, what? I looked at the appetizer. For one, my boy didn't say he wanted an appetizer. She charged us for two, and I guess put it on just a plate with a bunch of that stuff together. It was $60, $30 a plate. Well, $30 each, and we got hit twice for it. And, you know, we're in another country. You know, I don't want to be the stereotypical, do I need to say more? Why is, out of everybody, why me have to be the one complaining? But I'm just like, wow, she didn't tell us none of this stuff. My chicken wings, they had 3 options. She didn't ask me which option I wanted. She just charged me for the most expensive one. So it's cool. We had to go back. One of us had to stay at the restaurant. The other one had to go get cash and come back because it was that expensive to a point where it's like, we don't even carry that much cash. I leave the rest of my money in the safe and I bring a certain amount, which is very comfortable. So anyways, that's another story, sidetracking. But anyways, just be aware of this type of stuff. That's why I'm just talking to you guys, all right? But other than that stuff, man, I really enjoy it here. Things are very affordable. Like I said, you really can get food for $3. Be careful with the food, all right? The food is not my most favorite part around here. You gotta know where to go, because I did have one dish, which I'm gonna show a video of. It was very, very good. And it is rare. It's hard to find good food out here. That is a true thing. So if you just want to be cheap and just try to find cheap stuff, you might go somewhere where the food's not that great. So just be careful, all right? The best dish I've had so far was that plate of beef or whatever, but look out for it. It's gonna be in my videos. So be careful with the food. All right, so all in all, man, I like it here. I think it's not for everybody. I think there's gonna be some people that are not gonna like it because there is some things that you might be used to back at home that you might not have here. Like for example, the power outages. There is a place where I heard the power doesn't go out or whatever. So just do your research on that. But there's some things that like you just might be hard for you to get used to here. Me personally, I love it here. But I'm just saying I can understand where other people might not like it the most. So, yeah. Another thing to be mindful of, when someone tells you a place is cheap, it's cheap. It might be cheap for them, it might not be cheap for you. Everyone travels different. So don't listen to people when they say, oh, you're only gonna spend $50 a day. You don't know that. It depends what type of person you are, okay? I've had days here where I've spent $200. So know yourself. Don't worry about what's cheap and what's not. I just told you we had a $130 bill on lunch yesterday. You see what I'm saying? So imagine, you get me. So yes, you can find things very cheap. You can go to a corner store and get a lot of things cheap. Things are cheap here, but if you're the type of person you like eating at really, really nice restaurants or you like the best of the best, you can run up some money here. I made a rookie mistake. I ran out of money here. Cash. Like I still have money in my bank, but I can't get it out, right? But it's cool. It's no problem. There's always a way. But anyways, I did run out of money here. So just be mindful. You don't want to run out of money, all right? Do your budgeting good. And whatever you budget, put away an extra $300 for emergency. Bring an extra $300 in cash for emergencies, and then an extra $200 in cash on top of that. Best case scenario, you don't use that money. You just bring it back home, put it back in your bank account. But just make sure you bring enough money, all right? I made a few tweaks of mistakes that made me run out of money, like for example, the $130 lunch and stuff like that. That's rookie mistakes. I should be mindful of things like that. But that's nothing. That's life, I still love it here. I'm still coming back. So other than that, man, loving the trip, enjoying Cuba. So I will post this as soon as I can, and then I'll continue getting Cuban content, and then stay tuned for my videos from Cuba, for my Cuba series, all right? So thank you so much. Hit the like, comment, and subscribe. I hope this video can help you make up your mind as to whether you're gonna be visiting Cuba. So questions, comments, or anything like that, if I left anything out, shoot me a comment or shoot me a message on Instagram, all right? Thank you guys for watching. I am Vacation Time with Ryan. Everyone be safe travels. One last thing I wanted to say, just for whatever, as someone that grew up in Florida, I did not know that it gets this chilly in Cuba. Obviously it's my first time, but visiting Dominican Republic so much, Jamaica, and these islands that are always hot, I thought it would be the same here. I thought it would be hot all the time, but it's a little chilly. It's a little chilly. Even right now, it's a little chilly. It's crazy. At night, yeah. You might could put on a little jacket, and that's for someone like me that grew up in Florida, right? If you grew up in New York or Canada, you're probably used to the cold weather. All right. So, peace.